Welcome and thank you for coming. I'm Sweetie Berry and this is Everything Easier with Sweetie. And today we're going to learn how to make money online. Let's learn the terminology. How many of you know where the mute buttons are? Because you're going to need to mute yourself. If you look at your screen on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a microphone. You can click it to mute and you can hold your space bar when you have a question later because you're going to be able to answer questions. All right. For those of you that don't know, I am Sweetie Berry and I'm up in New Hope, Pennsylvania today, and you'll hear my voice is a little funny because I've got a little bit of bronchitis from filming out in the cold in Oklahoma. So I've got Coke and I've got cough drops and things. I don't feel bad, I just sound bad. But today we're having what's called a one and done. Has anybody had a one and done in their life before where they learned something and took it out and put it to work? Okay, that's what we're doing today. We're putting you to work. Some of you have had websites for years. Some of you have been studying having websites for years. Some of you have been doing Facebook Lives and have small groups of your own. And some of you are wishful thinking that somebody would pay you to be online. How many of you would like to be paid more to be online? Great. I want you to be paid to be online too. And some of you, I know a lot of you, are excited about doing something from home because of COVID times. And it's a really good reason to learn online skills because we know that people have completely changed how they're working. Many places now are no longer working in 3D. They're working in 3D virtually here. Curtis, if it will not disturb you too much, I'm gonna let you let them in while I keep talking, okay? Excuse me, I'm gonna get rid of that cough so that I can talk without it. It's just hard to, I couldn't chew gum in school either. I can't chew gum and walk, so I have to get rid of the cough syrup. All right, there are 13 ways we're going to talk about how you get paid to be online. Some of you have received money before for being online, and if you are not looking at me in the center screen, on the right-hand top side, it says View, and you can click that View and you can choose to be all in one place, or you can look at every single face and you can watch all the people. People watching is fun, but if you're here to learn, you may want to watch me in the middle, okay? So you do it whichever way it's comfortable for you. There are many ways to be paid online, and the terminology gets confusing because when you start working with brands and other bloggers and other businesses, they're going to throw some terminology at you. And you may not be familiar with it. So today's one and done. That means a class where you come knowing nothing, you leave knowing something and able to use it. That's what I call a one and done. You don't have to have an encyclopedia. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to learn to run a marathon to be successful in these classes. You come as you are and you leave being a star. Okay? So does everybody have pencil and paper? Does everybody have the ability to look and listen? Now, if you need to look down and write to hear, that's perfectly fine. If you need to watch me and get the notes later, you will be given sermon notes later. Okay, what are sermon notes, sweetie? Sermon notes are outlines of my talk with blanks filled in and the vocabulary at the top, just like in second grade. What I find is if I give you the transcript with the sermon notes, in other words, you fill in the blank with the words, you're a lot more successful learning. So it's my suggestion that you just listen and you write down things that made you go, wow, I didn't understand that. But as far as every single word I say, unless you're a learner that actually learns from writing down every single word someone says, that hinders your comprehension. Comprehension is running a motion picture in your head that pulls your experiences to the forefront with something that you're being taught. And I hope today when I teach you some things, you're going to have some, wow, I didn't get that before. How many of you are ready to learn that way? Okay, again, you know how you learn best. So if you need to look down and just listen, that's fine. It will not offend me. If you need to look at me directly, make funny faces, see if you can get me goosey, you won't listen very well, but I'll have fun with you, okay? If you need to write down every word, that's fine too. Do what works for you. You do you, and let's learn together. Here we go. The first way that people get paid to be online is to do exactly what I'm doing. And that is to speak in your area of expertise. To speak in your area of expertise, people will pay to come and speak and listen to you and your expertise. Maybe you want to know how to make an oven hood. I personally am working on a farmhouse in Oklahoma, and I just watched a whole lot of people learn how to make an oven hood. And I paid a woman who's actually done it, who actually renovated a 100-year-old farmhouse like mine, money online to walk me through what were the don't do this about building the oven hood. And that was something, her expertise, her experience was worth paying for. It was a consult fee for me. It was just like this Zoom call, except I paid her $85 for her to answer my questions about what not to do while we built the stove hood. It was very invaluable. I wish we listened to one question a little more, and that was when our builder was building it, we needed to make sure he understood the one we purchased to go in the hood would fit. He missed it by an inch, so he's getting to rebuild it today because details matter. And working online, details matter too. My friend Kim Plyler, who you'll probably meet during this call, would tell you the very first thing you need to know about online success is it's just like business offline. You need a contract, whether it's a contract for sales, whether it's a contract for speaking, whether it's a simple contract for services or goods, whether it's a contract for an exchange of money. You need something that they register and understand they're paying for it if they are. Now, the kind of class we're doing today, you're not paying for this. Actually, the truth is you are. You are paying for this. You're paying for it by giving me your time. And your time is worth money if you're in business. Okay? Your time is worth money. Some of you have been spending a lot of money surfing the internet, hoping someday that you get paid. But if you're on the internet surfing, you need to have an outcome in mind. Like when I started looking for the oven hoods, I could have gone on a lot of tangents about tile and about mailboxes and about building wood mantles, but I had the goal of learning just about the hood for my oven. You need to know that if you're wanting to be paid online, get paid for something specific. So that's your tip first. Get paid for something specific. Today I'm teaching you terminology, and the first word is content education. If you're paid as a speaker because you have area expertise, then that's content education. When brands reach out to talk to you about, I want to pay you for content education, they're talking about that. They're talking about you being the expert who teaches what you know and helps them, others people know what you know. The second way you're paid online is your recommendation. Maybe you have worked with Liberty Paints, and every time somebody buys a Liberty paint because you recommend it, because you're an influencer, the brand pays you to have that purchase through your link. That's an affiliate marketing, okay? But recommendations are a little different. Maybe I'm not tied to Liberty Blue. Maybe I like Sherman-Williams. Maybe I like Wet Boat Annie. Maybe I like my own Sandy paint. That means that my recommendations are going to lead to sales in multiple areas, and I'm going to make money from all of them. And some people will pay me for that recommendation. Just like I paid the lady $85 for 20 minutes of her time because she recommended what not to do. And to me, that was much more valuable than her teaching me step by step. I can follow step by step on the free YouTube. But I needed her to tell me what not to do, how to build it so that when I steamed spaghetti, that my paint wouldn't come off. When I steamed things like fish and crawfish, that the steam wouldn't destroy the hood that we built or the curve wouldn't start coming off. I needed to know what not to do because we really cook at our house. That thing's not ornamental. This mama cooks, and I need to know how to make it in a way that the wood would stay in place. The third way, and the third term you need to know, is affiliate. Affiliate means that your recommendation leads to a sale, or your address link leads to a sale, and the company pays you for traffic as well as for the sale. Affiliate sales, a lot of people, I make over $5,000 a month in affiliate sales every single month. I don't hawk things. You don't hear me saying, this is my favorite sweater. I bought this on Wednesday. Nothing wrong with that. That's not who I am, okay? I rarely say out loud in public, buy this, it's fabulous, here's my link. Okay, first of all, there's nothing in the world wrong with that. Many people do it. Many people love to do it. My friends are always saying, what is it that you buy? I want to buy like yours. That's a great way to make money. But I'm not in the business of making money from just affiliate sales. I'm in the business of equipping whoever I'm with appropriate tools. It's the same thing. They're still buying an affiliate link. I'm still getting credit for their purchase, but I'm tying it to the education I provide for people or the outcome project I'm working with, their website, Their sales booth, I see Crystal is here. Crystal has sales booth with her Botanics Naturals. And when we have that, I certainly recommended a kind of look. I certainly recommended a kind of table. I certainly recommended a kind of skirt for the table. Those can all be affiliate recommendations that I get paid for when she does it. And many times in my world, because I work with larger audiences, they will also give my people a better price. They're going to get a deal nobody else gets. When you have relationships and you're a small business, maybe you're just one person and maybe you just do one thing, like you paint living rooms. You can give your people a better price on that paintbrush or that paint roller than anybody else can give them. And sometimes that's the very best way for a small business to start earning a reputation. They know they can get the materials through you. When I taught art classes many, many years ago, I could not do it like Kathy does it, but I could certainly teach people how to do calligraphy. And they could only get their calligraphy supplies from me because I lived in a little bitty town and there was no Amazon. And so they didn't know where to go. They didn't know to go to Little Rock or Dallas to get calligraphy ink. They didn't know that you needed India ink. They didn't know that you needed dip pens. They didn't go out and get the peacock dip pens and make them themselves. That's something I provided in the class, and they could only purchase it in my class. I wouldn't even let the art studio downtown buy them from me. So sometimes you have the only place they can get it, and that's a special way of making money online too. The next way is called a round table. How many of you, thumbs up, have heard of round tables before? How many of you have been paid for a round table? Okay, round tables are really special. And I love to be the lead of a round table. That means that I bring an expert group on something I'm not an expert on, and I lead a discussion for the audience who needs to know the information. I'm about to do one on starting your business. In fact, one of the members here, Sally Williams, is going to be teaching that because she's an expert in bookkeeping. And we're going to have a roundtable discussion with a CPA and an attorney about what you need to know about starting your business. How many of you have had that conversation with the bookkeeper? That you know what receipts you need to keep, you know what things you need to be a sole proprietor, an LLC, or an Inc. You have had a conversation with the CPA to know what you should be doing for the importance of keeping your tax straight. Because it's not fun if you get to be very successful and end up in the federal pen because you did silly things. How many of you don't want to go to the federal pen? Not me. And I'm getting to a place in my career that if the money's wrong or the money's funny, I could go to the pen. Because you were talking about $1 million deal. They get real serious about that. So it's real important to me that we talk to CPAs and we talk to bookkeepers and we keep our minds straight about what's important and what we should not do. So those round tables is you're being paid for the ability to bring together good teachers. People will pay a ticket price to come learn in their venue for their topic, for their level of expertise. Now, do I invite $1 million bookkeepers for people who are used to making $100 a week? No. If I'm going to be paid online, I got to match the teacher to the expertise level of the learner. Okay. When you're doing things online, it's really important that you know who your audience is, that you know that you're talking to beginners or you're talking to super smart people who are really starting something new. Like I've never painted a bird in my life till maybe when I was little I did, but I haven't ever painted a watercolor bird, but I just bought a class that teaches me how to use watercolors to paint wild birds. Now I'm a beginner, but I'm an artistic beginner. So I chose someone who works with creatives who are already artistic, who teaches me the technique. Do you think I'll be happy with that class? I guarantee you I will, because she's going to treat me as though I have a good eye. And she's going to treat me as though I'm artistic already. And then she's going to teach me the ABCs of technique with watercolors. I'm so excited. And you should be excited about the classes you take too. And you should be twice as excited about the ones you teach, because every single person here has something to teach. You are experts at something, even if it's simply knowing what not to do. Okay? The fifth word and way that you get paid online are classes. Lots of you take classes online and you pay $7 to $700, sometimes $1,700 to take a class. It can be as simple as how to use Zoom. Do you know that I made $5,000 over May, June, July teaching people how to use Zoom? It was a $10 class and I did it one time Then I did it 2 times, then I did it 3 times, and the third tape was pretty good. So then I just put it out as a pay-per-view. And it just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. People would come to my Everything Easier with Sweeter at everythingeasier.com site. People like friends of mine who know that I teach pretty decently well recommended that their people go watch it because they didn't want to teach them how to turn on Zoom. They didn't want to teach them how lighting should work. And they didn't want to teach them how to save to the cloud. And they didn't want to teach them how to talk about what view or how to mute or unmute themselves. But I'm happy to do that. I'm all about teaching people how to use Zoom. And at $10 a pop, there were 500 people over the course of 8 weeks that took it independently. 500 times $10 is still $5,000. And it was just happy with me. And I got teased. One of my girls up here said, we charge $180 for the same class. Well, good for you. I feel good about $10. That's what I did. If I'm talking to a creative, then I may charge more because they're a teacher or they're showing off their artwork and there's some more expertise you've got to have. But I just felt like if you could spend $10 on a class and feel comfortable and confident and competent, I did my job and you weren't pained. I don't like to cause pain for learning. I like learning to be free, but sometimes we have to make it worth money for them to take it seriously. How many of you know that if you give everything out for free, you've just defined that you're not important in time? They will waste your time and not show up. So sometimes in business, we've trained them from television that if it's free, it's not of value. But my hope is that you will do free classes for people who cannot afford classes until they can. There are many, many people. I've been working at a hotel this week that has 41 homeless people in it, and they're sheltering from the cold because it's so very cold in Pennsylvania right now. And you know, I have ended up teaching a class with them because they are all people who want to work. They are all people who need to work online. They are in a hotel with free internet and free computers right this minute in every room, and they all need homes. And so we have been working on how to work online for free, how to work on a call center, how to answer questions in customer service, how to get online on a call chat, because they see these ads where it's $25 an hour, some of them $45 an hour, but they have no experience. And if you don't know how to do something, it's very hard to get hired for it. How many can agree to that? If you don't know how to do something, doesn't matter if the jobs exist, you don't know how to do it, it's hard to connect. I'm very privileged to know that one of them now has a job because of my teaching and her willingness to learn. How many of you are ready to be learned and get your own job, get your own money? You can do this. There's not a person in this class that can't do this, 100%. All right, number 6, the word is evaluations. Sometimes you get paid online for your evaluation. Many teachers like myself will invite you to come be in a class and to evaluate our teaching, to give us your opinion on when it went fast, when they need more work, when it went slow, whether it's interesting or boring. They're kind of brutal sometimes, but the truth is I pay for that and so do others because we want to be better teachers. So you can be paid online for your evaluation. You can help people look at their book proposals. You can look at people at their art. Maybe they're getting stuck on their leaves on their trees and they didn't watch Julia say on the movie Stepmother. Maybe you don't have the right kind of paint and you don't know why it's not working. And someone who with expertise can tell you the reason that's not working is that's an awful brand of paint. Maybe you need someone who can say what the best brand of microphone is, like Curtis J. Hanna can do. Curtis can tell you how to get 3,000 people in a room and keep them entertained even when the system breaks, because he can dance. Let me tell you, that man can dance with his mind and his words enough that if someone's missing their prompt, the show has to keep going on. And he knows how to tell you that when you're doing a Zoom big day, that you pre-tape a few things so that if someone loses their internet connection, the show doesn't stop. He just plugs in the next speaker and then we recover the person. There's some secrets about how to do things well that come with experience, and he's very experienced. Dee Bond and Dee Bryan right there is too. Dee Bryan, who's in this class, is a kitchen expert, and she's a kitchen expert because she's very experienced ordering cabinets and she knows what to do and what not to do. And we get through our mistakes and we prevent other people from making mistakes by sharing our experiences. And people pay for that in their evaluations. If you're about to get your home inspected, it may be you want to pay somebody else to evaluate whether your builder is going to be okay or not, so you can get that right to entry pass. Right now, we're in that process at my house. We're getting ready for USAA to insure our home that we just rebuilt. But I hired someone from Tulsa to come in and online virtually take a tour with me and look at everything that right of occupancy inspector could say no to. And it's worth it to me to get online to be paid that way. I get paid for IEPs, for individual education plans. I get paid by school districts to problem solve for behavior problems. I get paid by groups who are coming to market with a new product. I get paid for online classes. I get paid to evaluate other teachers online. There are lots of ways to get paid online, and all of them involve you receiving money for what you do well. And you can learn to do it well, and we're going to teach you how in the next 90 days. The next word is for introductions. How many of you have gotten paid for an introduction before? Have you ever thought about that? Even art teachers get paid for introductions. Maybe you're introducing watercolors. Maybe you're introducing the method of best to show up on screen. Maybe you're introducing a crowd to the best brand of microphones. Maybe you're getting introduced to a certain group or a certain way of life or a certain way of eating. I am working with a chef right now who's had a Food Network show, and he gets paid to introduce you to the low-carb lifestyle. And those of you that know George, Stella, and Stella Style, there have been millions of dollars paid for him to teach you how to clean out your refrigerator. How many of you know that you would love to have a personal chef show up in your kitchen and walk you through how to remake what you love in a low-carb style? Well, you're going to get the chance to, because this particular group is going to get to have George for free in February. He's going to teach us how to do an after-school party for our kids with low carb. He's going to teach us how to make a romantic dinner with low carb. He's going to teach us how to do a tea party with low carb food. And he's going to teach us how to change into loving ourselves with low carb excellence. And he's going to do that for free for my group, because I need to see how he teaches. And he needs to show off, and we're going to get to take advantage of that. So that's going to be fun. The next way you get paid is percentage profit. This is very important. How many of you absolutely dislike finding crowds? How many of you dislike finding crowds? I get paid to bring the crowd all the time. I'm in New York this week for part of the week, Pennsylvania and New Jersey for part of the week, because I bring the crowd. I bring the crowd. When they say Sweetie Bear is going to show up, 300 people showed up. She didn't have to invite 300 people to her party or to her class or to her workshop. They showed up for Sweetie Bear, and I shared my audience. And then I got paid 40% of those who showed up. I got a percentage of the profit from what they did. Is that a great way to work? Heck yeah. Nobody arrives by themselves. You share audiences. Sometimes you share audiences because someone invited you on their podcast and you were introduced to their whole listening audience. Sometimes you get introduced because you are a small part of a large thing. We have national sales directors in Mary Kay who do the big teaches, but they may invite a new car driver to talk about how they won that car. That small speak puts you in front of all that nationals audience, and you become a superstar because you won your car. Okay, same thing is true in radio land. I was on a radio show with 8 million people this week with women who are single moms at home, and it was so exciting because there were 8 million people over the next 45 days who will hear that, and I will have some free classes for them. The typical audience, about 1% follow you home. If you're doing kind of a poor job, 1% will follow you home. Well, with 8 million, 1% is a lot. Who knows how to do their math? Who knows what 1% of 8 million is? All right, math teacher, I know you know how. I'm going to wait for you. I know the answer because I was a math teacher, but I want you to figure it out. What's 1% of 8 million? I'll wait you out. All right, I'll help you out. That's 80,000. 80,000 of anything is good money. How many of you are ready to understand that 80,000 times anything is good money? 50 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents, $1, $10? In this case, the class is, in my case, $14 of which $7 will go to the radio host, $7 will go to me. And of that $7, $1.37 is what it will cost me to produce the downloadable. Okay, so about $6 times 80,000 is how much? That would be $500,000. How many of you start understanding that when you have somebody else's audience, your money multiplies? All right, Heidi Rome, I'm going to talk to you about this. Heidi Rome is an expert in severely autistic children. She has a son who is at a residential school who will soon need a residential life outside of school. And she is on a mission to open up the world's eyes to we have to be ready to handle these 147 children who are going to be adults who are going to need acceptance in the community. They're going to need a reason to be there. We can't just lock them away in a school and say it's going to be okay to spend $100,000 a month on them for the rest of their lives. Long after their parents die, who's going to pay for them? We've got to change our views as a society on severe autism, and we've got to see them for the jewels they are, and we've got to start understanding that our community needs a way to support their lives, as well as every other kind of other that exists, whether you're a stroke victim, whether you are a paraplegic, whether you are a gifted and talented person, whether you're a hyper energy one like me. We've got to be more about everybody being included in communities. And Heidi's at the forefront of that. And she's at the forefront. She was at the conversation this week about Web3 with Jeff Pulver, who was the voice over internet protocol founder. In other words, Skype and the things we're doing right now, he created that 30 years ago. So Jeff has a lot of think tanks that come to talk about how to make the world a better place. And Heidi was the closing speaker. So be amazed with that. She was there. So, and the next word we're going to talk about after percentage profit, I don't like this one, but it's the truth and you'll hear it a lot. BIC income. Anybody have a guess what BIC is? BIC income. D?
Butt and chair.
Butt in chair. The very first time I heard BIC income was David Cooper, my mentor for 28 years. And he said, sweetie, I'm going to give you a BIC income that's going to be more than you ever made teaching. And I said, what? He said, BIC. I said, are you talking about big pens? Because I write with big pens all the time, the ones like this. And he said, no, BIC, you're going to learn to invite people to where I train. And every time one of them shows and their butt is in the chair, I'm going to pay you $3. Well, I didn't think much about that because at the time I was making $27,000 as a teacher. I had a master's degree in summer soft. So I thought I was done. Okay. Had a Mary Kay career, drove a free Mary Kay car, and $3 per butt in chair did not sound good to me. Until I realized $3 times 300 is $1,000 just for sitting there, basically. And then I realized he did crowds of 14,000, and 14,000 times $3 is really good money. So I got over myself and I started saying, okay, Mr. Cooper, what do you mean by that? He said, I'm going to give you all of the list of all of the clubs in every town that I go to, and I'm a sales and income trainer. And you're going to write a little letter. This was before the internet. You're going to write a little letter to each of those clubs, and you're going to give them a sheet about my speaking, and you're going to give them a special coupon that has your number on it. And when they come, every single one of them that buys a $20 ticket to my speak, you're going to get $3 of that $20. Well, I thought that was kind of squirrely, and I thought that was kind of easy money, and I really thought I was taking advantage of it. But I did it, and the very first time I made $2,100 because these clubs came and they brought their members. And if they brought 10 members, he gave me a bonus. If they brought 50 members, he gave me a bigger bonus. If he gave me 100 members, he gave me more. Well, it didn't take me long to figure out I'd go get groups. How many of you know it's not fun to find people one at a time? How many of you know that if you can find groups, you multiply your money online? Do you need to start from scratch in your thinking? Some of you have been thinking, oh my goodness, I can't get 27 people somewhere. How can I get 2,700? Well, you can't, but the leaders of groups can. The teachers of your elementary school have kids. You need art class students. Then the kids at youth group have kids. The kids at after school programs have kids. The kids in other art classes in other districts have kids. Why in the world would you look for one at a time kids? Go find a school, go find a teacher, go find a pediatrician, go find a pediatric dentist. They have kids. Make it a value for them to share you because you're a good thing. How many of you know that you're a good thing for whoever's in front of you? You better know. How many you think I'm a good thing for who's in front of you? I will be good to your people because they'll walk away knowing something. Heidi Rome yesterday said, but sweetie, you're going to do a class for 90 days and they're going to pay $100 a month and you're going to limit it to 30 people tops. Gosh, that's not enough people. That's only $3,000. You said you're going to make more like 50 or 60,000 during that 90 days. And I said, you better come to speaker school because you don't understand how to make money online. When you come to class, how many of you have gone to college? How many of you people have paid for art classes? How many of you people have paid to go to concerts? How many of you have gone to a restaurant? How many of you have taken home dessert? You are the dessert of every class you teach. And some of you need to offer the menu of tools. Some of you need to offer the menu of the main course. In other words, here are the supplies you need for this class. Some of you need to offer the diary book. My class, I guarantee you, every one of my team today has this notebook on the class I'm teaching because it gives them the 22 calendar and it teaches them every single thing we're doing. And they paid an additional $20 for this in the class that was free. Well, did that up my profits? Mm-hmm. If I give them a step-by-step guide and encyclopedia to how to make money online, would they pay $10 to have all that stuff gathered and to remind them what I taught them? Mm-hmm. Some of them want the auditory file, which in my class is free, but very few of the classes that I teach on a national scale, like with John Maxwell, are free. They can come to the event for free. If they want the recording, they spend $99. If they want the recording pulled off of the video, which is just audio, they spend an additional $99. If they want the call that follows up a month later to see how they're doing and answer their questions, they pay an additional $99. Then that person's class that was free suddenly made $400 a person. That's the John Maxwell way. And let me tell you, they're getting a deal because if you pay $99 for John Maxwell, you learned. They are excellent teachers and they're excellent trainers. And if you're learning and you've made now $50,000 because your business got taught for $500 how to do it, was that a valuable class? Yeah, I have a money back guarantee in my world. If you take my 90-day class and you do the work and you show up for the things, that's I only let you miss once, twice if you have a really good excuse like COVID. You're going to get your money back if you didn't make money. If you did the work, something's wrong. If you didn't make money, most of my people have made $2,000 to $3,000 in those 90 days. And that's with a $5 product because I don't expect people to sell more than a $5 product. How many of you are comfortable selling a $5 product? How many of you know that a $5 product multiplied will get you more money than a $5,000 product? Yeah, when you're beginning, you need to start simple because you're not very good yet. And so you pay for what's very good and you pay for expertise, but until you've taught a class 30 times, you're not very good. You're a baby speaker. Okay, how many of you have set up classes before? How many of you know that when you set up a class and you change the class every single time, you probably didn't get very good at it because you need to teach something 15 to 30 times before you personally are going to be a good expert at it. Okay, the next word, we had BIC income, that's bud and share income. The next kind of income is called scholarships. Scholarships. You can get paid to speak on a scholarship. Essence Magazine last year paid me $15,000 as a scholarship to be the expert for them in Florida and New Orleans. Okay, the scholarship is not like the scholarship where you go to college for free. The scholarship is when you are the teacher who is scholarly at their event. Okay, we know the scholarship, like my kids go to college free because they had a good ACT score. That's not the kind of scholarship they're talking about. They're talking about a scholarship where you are the teacher at the event, virtually or in person. Okay, you must know your business in that space. Let me tell you a story. I had a client that was asked to go to Essence Fair, which is always in New Orleans, and she was so excited because they were paying her $10,000 and paying for her hotel for 3 days. And she was really excited till she didn't do her homework. And on the panel, she found out everybody else on the panel got paid $35,000 and they got paid for 7 days, 2 days before the event and 2 days after. How many of you have ever been got because you didn't know something? Yeah, I've been got because I didn't know something. You need to do your homework because they're always going to ask, what is your speaker fee? What is your teacher fee? What is your entrepreneur expert fee? And whatever you say, chances are high somebody made more if you didn't do your research. Okay. Home Depot is one that got me really badly 11 years ago. I did a thing for Home Depot with a book, and we were doing these plant things with Pamela Crawford, and we named a price. We wanted $2,500 a pop for 7 different things when a book came out for Home Depot, and we were online, and they paid for the video, and we thought we were good if they just filmed us. We thought we did good, y'all. They paid for the filming, and woo, $2,500. We split it in 2 and got a cheap hotel room. We thought we did good. And then their CPA, who was kind, called me at the end of that when he said, you were excellent. You guys did a great job. You brought in a lot of money. You brought us a lot of plant sales. I just want to whisper something in your ear. We had budgeted that to be $140,000 per person, because you didn't know that you didn't know. You left $138,000 on the table, and we were thankful, but we're not giving you that money. Next time, put your big girl pants on, ask for what you're worth. You brought a national brand, new flavor. You brought a national brand, new audience. You brought a national brand, new components to sell. That was worth $500,000 to us, and you asked for $2,500. You have to learn your market. You have to know how much it costs them to do business. Hallmark can't come up with a new product in less than 18 months. If you come up with an idea for Hallmark and it needs to be done in 6 weeks, they will not get it done for 18 months, because their legals are so difficult that you have to wait 18 months for that machine to move. Okay, you've got to know what the timeline looks like. If you want to be hired by a brand, know the brands that hire within 6 weeks. Know the brands that can move in Instagram in 48 hours. Know the brands that will pick it up. I've got a brand right now going nuts because of this road trip across country in Jeep. They've already offered to upgrade my Jeep to a brand new one because I bought a used Jeep, and they are so excited about the pictures that I have on my Instagram for Jeep that they wanted me to come bring it, trade it in, give me a better one, because I'm getting them good pictures. If you just do what you do well, people will pay you to share your story. If you share their story well, they'll pay you to share your story. Okay? Next word, speaking fees. We just covered that a little bit with Essence Magazine, but speaking fees can be free. They can be honorariums. They can actually be what it costs you to leave. Now, how many of you know that it costs you money to leave your house? Okay? If you are a professional, the least you should be leaving your house for is $50 an hour times 8 hours, or $400 minimum. Okay? That's the minimum you should be leaving your house for, because you're risking wrecking your car. You are risking missing something at the house. You are risking being in public and not being paid appropriately. And you are risking missing the calls and the work that you do outside of speaking. I tell my speakers that I'm not letting you leave your house for less than $600 locally and $3,000 if we're only 30 minutes from home, because we expect door-to-door service. We expect door-to-door preparation. We expect them to have event insurance so that if we have an accident on the way to their event, it's their problem. We have a need for them to cover us if we are falling off stage, or if I fell in the ice, that the business that hired me has got insurance to cover that. So do you think that happens if they're giving you a $25 speaker fee? No, they haven't even thought about that risk. They've not worried. They're going to say, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but they're not going to cover your medical bill. And then you're going to have to go to court. And who wants to go to court? Nobody. Okay. So a speaker fee does a few things legally, and I'm not going to go deeply because I'm not your attorney and I'm not going to teach legally today. But you need to know that when you speak, you've got to speak original material, that you should not be quoting somebody else unless you give credit. You should not be using pictures that are not your own, or something you've hired a graphic artist who uses legally bonded pictures for. You should not be quoting things unless you have permission to quote them. You should not be showing pictures of books unless the outside pictures of books are fine if you're suggesting them for purchase, but you are not allowed to show the interior of books or to read from books unless you have the author or the publisher's permission. You should not be playing Crow Evans Johnson's music without talking to her about a royalty for permission. She might give you a one-time royalty, or she might give you permission to do it for free one time because she's good like that. But the truth is, we all make money because we're paid for what we do. So it's very important that when you're doing speaker fees, that you make sure you include what it costs to get your hair done, I know Wayne never shows up without his barber's sweetening his stuff done. Curtis J. Hanna, I bet it takes him a while to get his facial done because he always looks so sharp. And he takes care of his skin with Mary Kay Cosmetics because he's a Mary Kay guy. And I love that. But it takes money to get ready. It takes time to get ready. For me to be on the road like I had been for these 8 days, it takes planning at home to feed my family, make sure Valentine's is handled, make sure that my husband has dinner when he gets home. He just came in from Arkansas today after 7 days away, so I want to make sure he's handled, because no one wants to come home to an empty house and no dinner in the freezer. Okay. The next way you get paid, number 12, is spokesmanship, where you like some brands so well you're willing to represent it. And it's a serious thing. And if you're giving it away for free, that's kind of like having affairs before you're married. Okay, you're going to really give away for free. These brands need to pay for it if you're talking about it. At the very least, they need to be providing your materials for free. But brands pay for spokesmanship, and they are sweet deals. Do not believe that you can do good for a brand and they, out of the goodness of their heart, that they're going to pay you to do it. That's a business transaction. They'll let you talk about them all day long. And if you have good pictures and good video, they might reach out to you. The chances are higher they'll just do it for free and take advantage of you. So if you're going to be on brand, first of all, let them know that you're talking about their brand. And second of all, ask them what they can do for you. The very least they should do is provide your materials. The very next least they should do is provide your materials and then give you a serious affiliate link so that when people buy because you bought, you get money. But most of them need to pay you a spokesperson fee, and you need to be educated about what you're saying so you say it accurate. So you want to be involved with the brand to get that spokesperson fee. And the 13th way is to be a brand ambassador. How many of you have ever been paid to be a brand ambassador? Anybody? I want to say, let me flip my view so I can see your little faces, because you're all little and I'm big and I'm cute, but I don't need to see me all day long. All right, let me go to gallery view. Thumbs up. Who's been paid to be a brand ambassador? I see a couple. Yay. Brand ambassadors are paid to be cute. They're paid to tell the truth. They're paid to share what they know. They're paid to do what they do. Brand ambassadors get trips. They get cars. They get leased cars. They get food. They get things sent to their house. They do all kinds of wonderful things. And I am a brand ambassador for a couple of brands. Who knows who I'm a brand ambassador for? Anybody? Let's see how well you watch Sweetie online. Crow? Unmute yourselves, girls and boys.
Martin Guitars.
Martin Guitars. Actually, I'm not, but the Arte Gallery is here. Kim I. Plyler, who I work with as a strategic advisor, is a Martin Guitar person. They're a brand ambassador. I'd love to be a brand ambassador, and I hope that'll happen this year. But she certainly is. She represents them and sells their guitars, and it's a fantastic experience. Does anybody else know somebody that I am a brand ambassador for? I talk about them all the time.
I say Sherwin-Williams.
Absolutely. I am a brand ambassador for Sherwin-Williams. They pay me about $7,500 a quarter to use their paints. And I don't even talk about it. You don't hear me say, here's Sherwin-Williams color number, whatever. I never do that. I just show them before and afters. And then they say, what is it? And I say, Sherwin-Williams, because I'm not a pushy salesperson. Unless, of course, I think you're messing up. If I think you're messing up, I'll get pushy. Ask Heidi. I get pushy when I need to be. All right. What else? I am a brand ambassador for Nikon. I'm a Nikon education specialist. I'm one of only 6 in the United States that will teach learning disabled gifted kids how to use cameras when they're low vision. I also work with teachers, about 520,000 teachers, to use cameras in class. How many of you would love to be paid as a teacher to use cameras in class? I am a fairy godmother. I show up at schools and I give them 200 cameras, or I show up at schools and give them a video camera, or I show up at schools and give them $5,000 to play with. I love being the fairy godmother for Nikon, and Nikon is good to me. Nikon does a lot of nice things for a lot of nice places on my behalf, and I love that. So being a fairy godmother, I can tell you brand ambassadorship is something to recommend. Several of my friends are Disney brand ambassadors. They are paid by Disney with 3 cruises a year and money. How many would like to go on 3 cruises a year on Disney? It's an easy one to go to. It's an easy rewards thing. They just want you to go and have a good time and tell about it. Disney brands are great to work with. I work with Disney leadership. I am a Disney leaders leader, and that means I teach leadership school at Disney. And I love that. I never get to go to the park. In March, I'm going to the parks. I usually just fly in and do my training and fly out. But this time, my friend Angela Belford is going to meet me down there. And with my low vision, we're riding every ride I ever wanted to this time. So it's going to be fun in March. Mr. Stella lives right by in Kissimmee, Florida. And so he's going to take me to all the places too. But when you're low vision, you don't do a lot of the fun stuff because you don't know how to get there. So unless I have Curtis or unless I have Heidi or Beverly traveling with me, I don't get to do all the fun stuff. So let's go back through the 13. You get paid for content education. You get paid for recommendations. You get paid for affiliate marketing. You get paid to host a roundtable or to participate as a speaker in a roundtable. You get paid for classes. You can get paid for evaluations, for introductions, a percentage of profit, for butt-in chairs, for sponsorships, for speaking fees, for spokesmanship, for brand ambassador. And what's the last one? It's the simplest of all, for selling your stuff online. Those are all the ways, or at least 14 of them, that you can get paid online. Some of them require you to be involved. Some of them require a taped you to be involved. Some of them require you being just next to it in a bubble saying, this is the brand I used to teach within watercolor classes. And it's just a picture and you make it in graphics and you point to it and put your name under it. Some of you are terrified of the concept of being seen on the screen. Just use a bubble, do a speech bubble and sign your name to it. That's easy. That's a recommendation as much as my picture is. Okay. How many of you think now that you could open your mind to a few more ways to make money online? We didn't even talk about mentoring or coaching or doing things like that, because I believe that you really have to go to school to be safe for people as a coach. I really do not encourage people to coach without professional training, because you can harm someone's psyche because you don't understand what it takes to actually guide someone or mentor someone. So that's something I caution. It's a personal thing for me. I think you can coach them how to do watercolors. You can coach them how to play baseball. But if you're working with someone's mental psyche, you need a degree in that, or at the very least 18 months of training, because I've seen too many folks call themselves a business coach and what they were was a bully. It's really important not to bully people or to give them misinformation if they have mental illness or mental pain. So I believe that that's a different kind of thing that you need to go to school for. And I'll teach you how to go to school for that and who teaches that, who I think is safe if you want to be a business coach. But it's something you should really take seriously, because you are speaking into people's lives. And if you are speaking into people's lives, you want to make sure they're healthy enough to hear what you're saying, because otherwise they're projecting their unhealth into the situation and you're going to do more damage than good. Okay. Are there any questions? Let's open it up to questions. Today's goal was to teach you terminology. I think we did that, didn't we? I think today's goal was to introduce the basics of how to make money online. So now you have the words, and the next one and done will help you get to the next step to tell you what a product is and how do products get used as you mature the products to the customer. How many of you know that you mature things when you're interested in them? You bought the watercolor set from the dime store when you started, but then you decide you needed a better paintbrush. And then you decided you needed better paints. And then you decided to make your own paints. And then you decided to make your own paper. You mature when you get interested in things, right? So it takes better things. You don't want to give a beginner an Olympic level running shoe. It won't help them. They just need a pair of shoes, because runners are going to change their shoes every 60 days. They wear out. They don't support you anymore. So we want to teach you how to mature your audience, mature your sales, mature your business, and mature your bank accounts. And we're going to be doing that during the 90-day class. All right. Any questions? You guys are quiet. That's not like you. Yes, ma'am.
What would you suggest as overall the simplest way to get started with this?
Begin.
A lot.
The simplest way to begin. Heidi, in your case, the simplest way to begin is to identify what you're an expert at. And one of the things you're an expert at is how to evaluate residential schools for children with autism, and to create a class based on that, a one and done class that gives parents the questions to ask and let them know the 12 questions to ask as they're considering that. And I like to break those into 15. Here's a top secret. All right, ready? This is important. Hear me. This is a 6-figure answer, and you will not hear me. So I need you to really open your ears and hear me. If you can teach somebody 15 things, that's a class. If it may be 3 things that have 5 parts, that's still 15. That's a class. It may be you list 15 things you need to know to be a safe driver. And when you looked at that, it's actually 45. That's 3 classes. 15 ideologies, as much as a class can contain. I say that after 35 years of being a teacher, y'all. I've been a teacher, actually 40 years. Since 1985, I've been a certified teacher. No one can hang on to more than 15 things in a 90-minute class.
90. I was wondering if that was an hour or for a 90.
I think classes need to be in sets of 21 minutes, and you can have up to 3 sessions of them. So an hour class is 2 21 sessions, but really what I teach most of the time is a 75-minute class. And that includes the beginning and the end and the upsell if there is one and the review. Okay. People can pay attention about 7 minutes. So you have to change gears every 7 minutes, but you have to stay on track. Because Kathy and I, we get bored easy. We do. We expect teachers to be with it. And if they're not with it, we are gone. Marissa will tell you every single day, because she's a very experienced trainer, that if you are not ready to keep entertained and your energy's not high, they're gone after 3 minutes and they will not be back. And on a Zoom, you learn when they leave because you watch them leave. Okay, I do something called Working Live, which is a system in Zoom that I pay for. It makes Zoom less expensive every month. And the Zoom for Working Live tells me when people drop off on their attention. It covers where they're looking at the screen. And it tells me a printout on every single student of who's paying attention, who's not paying attention, who's bored, who's fidgeting, who's frustrated, because it uses artificial intelligence to teach you how to improve your class. And some of you, I need to improve my teaching because you're bored. And some of you are like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. This is an overview class, and overviews are to get you in the realm of how this works. Then one-to-one or one-to-some instruction is how you do it step by step. Some of you are ready for step by step, aren't you? You're ready to actually make a difference in your income. I'm ready for you to make a difference in your income too. And I want you to tell it far and wide, 90 days from March 1st, how you learned to do it and how proud you are of yourself for getting it done. We'll be talking about the legals. We'll be talking about production. We'll be talking about doing it. And my Chaffee Creek Creatives team is actually going to do the art for you for free to make one product. They're going to help you, whether it's an ebook, whether it's an album cover, whether it's a single that you release, whether it's an audio file. We're actually going to put it together. So you're going to walk away in that 90 days with a product in your hand that is ready to sell. And I've stamped it to say it's good enough. Okay. That's it for today, guys. I'm so thankful you were with me today. I promised we would do this in under an hour, and we did. And it was worth exactly what you paid for it. But I'm looking for you to be in the classes. We do limit that to 30. There's about 180 who've seen this class today. And we have, the people that are live with us too. But this is going to go on recording. It will be in the group for Everything Easier with Sweetie Berry. It is a process of applying to come to be the 30-day class. Kim, I apply. Hey, Kim, are you here? Would you like to introduce yourself with me? Sure. I've been talking about you. She's a PR expert. We're at her gallery called the Arte Gallery in New Hope, Pennsylvania, but she's been a PR expert who owns the firm Sol Communications for over 20 years, right?
20 years. Yeah.
20 years. So hello to Kim. She'll be co-teaching that with me. We will have a call every other week for 6 trainings, 6 75-minute trainings. There'll be 1 call a month for you to ask your questions and to do your bragging, because you're going to have things to brag about. And then for some of you, you'll add an upsell on that. And the upsell is when you need one-on-one, you have the ability to buy specific time with Kim or I on a special project. Some of you have special projects and you need direct stuff. Of course, you can always hire us one-on-one. We're available for that. We have very limited time for it, but we take on some developmental people every year. Kim and I worked together for almost 8 years?
About 8 years.
Almost 8 years. Our first project together was an Oprah project. How about that? And we didn't even like each other, but we have learned to love each other. And we came from opposite sides of the project, and it turns out we got rid of the client and kept each other. So that's how it works in business. You work with the people who work, and you work with the people of integrity. And I'm willing to drive 1,200 miles to be in this woman's presence because she is excellent. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at the next One and Done, which will be next Friday. So if you'd like to be at that free One and Done, you're welcome. They're pretty much going to be Fridays for a while because that's when I'm usually home. Although today I'm in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Thanks for coming, guys. Yay.
Mom, jacket.
Yes, this is one of our artist jackets. Isn't that fun? Jason does this, one of the artists, he made it in front of us. We loved watching it. It's a bleach process and then he painted it. It was fantastic.
And muslin from Africa. His
His family's
descendants.
tribe, and so they buy from the tribe to weave and bring it to us. So we've got all kinds of things. I'll take you on a video tour of the gallery in just a minute, and I'll put it on the group so you can see where I am. All right. Mwah! Thanks for coming, guys. Have a great day. I will put up the information for the notes from me, the sermon notes, on Saturday morning. I will not have time till Saturday morning to type them up again for you, but I'll put them inside the group and then I'll put them on the webpage too. That helpful? How many of you said it was helpful at a 3% level? 10%? 20%? You really feel like you're ready to understand now? How many of you have some hope? You're having hope now. Okay, we're going to make money this year because you really do what you really do, and it's time to get paid for it. Okay? That's called integrity. And as long as you have the integrity of business, I will help you make money. Here we go. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.